This is a young horse I'm warming up for his first 3/8 work. Easy 3/8. Part of that is just fluffing them. In other long reining podcasts that I've done, I've shown you how I'm giving them positions to create muscles. And this warm-up is specifically to fluff or get the blood flow in the muscle groupings without putting any taxing stretches on them. We're going to leave that for his breeze. Anyway, you'll notice his head's up and arched a bit. He's starting to get his lower back more, if you have seen his previous videos, strong. So his position is different than when I started out 6 weeks ago. As he's warming up, those muscles tickle, not unlike jumper muscles. When they're a good old open jumper will warm up first 2 or 3 fences, he'll lay a nice buck as he's jogging over a nice 5-foot vertical. They're stretching their lower back, they're popping their lower back. In this case, he's a 2-year-old, well, technically 3 because of January, but he's a late 2-year-old, and so I don't really consider him in my mind as a 3-year-old yet. And the muscles around his lower back are new to him. And as he's bucking, it's not so much any resistance at all. He's been in the stall 20 hours, and now he's out. And those new muscles actually tickle. So rather than going out the industrial way and jogging them, turning around and doing a mile and then breeze, I'm of the mind to warm them up on the long reins, no weight on the back. And as you see, he got tangled in his buck, and even this part is good training for him, because eventually, in a couple months, when we're doing real breezing of 5/8 and getting ready for our first race, they're feeling full of themselves, and in the paddock saddling, you'll have 8, 10, 11 other horses all feeling full of themselves. And as I entangle them and stuff, I'm really giving him a library of consciousness so that he knows that we behave. But if you can really see, as he's bucking and he makes his strides and his forearm gets bigger and bigger, he's really unwrinkling his wrinkles of 20 hours in the stall, all on his own volition. This to me makes for a better racehorse. They don't identify it with the track or the rider on their back. They're free. And he's really inevitably exercising himself. All I'm doing is guiding his haunches, keeping them square. That's the most important part, is to keep those haunches square and horizontal or parallel to the ground, so one hip or the other isn't dropping. That way we don't have our hips out and our withers out. As he warms up here, you'll see his demeanor. He'll start feeling more excited as the blood flows through his loins, his shoulders, and he feels freer and freer of the gravity. Now we're on the right lead, or excuse me, on the left lead, which is his more athletic point. Sorry, right lead. Right hind. I ride so much, I don't look at it the same way. So to me, this is really important part, because this is the turn. The left lead represents the turn, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but my race horses, 2-turn horses, move up on the second turn because I do a study and I really build up the right hind so it can take and the power takeoff and turn, as opposed to the left hind just needs to go straight ahead. So when you build up that right hind takeoff, which on this horse and most thoroughbreds are the weaker of the 2 hind legs, the horse is really confident. So when it hits the corner with the speed and the velocity of it, they don't get scared. Horses don't like falling over, less or more so than even people do. So when you have the horse coordinated and free of gravity coming off the right hind, they dig in and really go through the corner. Whereas the horses that are just sort of tossed every morning galloping tend to, on the second turn, green horses especially, bow out, waste a lot of footsteps on the second turn. Now he has his head down and I'm turning him and stuff, but he's really having to listen, get a grasp of feeling all good and stuff, and he really feels good today. He was rearing this morning when I went into his stall, which is a good sign, and feeling full of himself. But even though he's really full of himself, he's listening and he's focused, and he's allowing me to untangle his legs. Again, this goes back to his first start. So even though he goes to the paddock full of himself and ready to explode like a nuclear bomb out of the gate, he's going to listen and be composed as we saddle him and take him to the track. It's really good to see a young horse, and can you see his demonstrativeness as he drops his hindquarters, and that's why his front end looks like it's rising. Some racehorse people think, oh my gosh, he's up in the air in front. Not really. When you put the speed into it on a flat track, they lower themselves to the ground. It's just the rate of speed that we're going and the depth of step underneath them that they compose themselves in a more collected way. The physics are the same as flat out. As a matter of fact, Podowski put in one of his books, he has a picture of a Piaffe, he has a picture of a racehorse flat out. And he was the one that first said the physics are exactly the same, and they really are. Now with computers, we might be able to prove it to laypersons, so they don't think the horse is climbing. Now without taking any more out of him, I'm just going to gather it up. And as I'm gathering the reins up and stuff, I know he wants to go up in the air and buck and all this, but I'm also, again, teaching composure. And this is part of the infrastructure to having a good racehorse that can focus and put all that energy towards his ultimate job, and that is the race.
How did the horse feel while you were riding him?
He feels great. He did it easy.
Yeah.
He did it really easy.
Yeah.
He's a nice horse. I like him.